We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm glad all you guys were able to make it today. My name is Peyton. I'm the membership manager here, and we'll be doing the walkthrough of how to join your students to Educators Rising, as well as a walkthrough of the resources done by Noor. Noor, if you want to say hey.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to going through everything with you guys today, and feel free to put your questions in the chat as Peyton and I proceed.
Yep, and we will have a Q&A session at the end. So if you do have any questions you want to review with us, do just let us know. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, guys, so first things first, we are going to start on our main Educators Rising webpage. This is where you can find a ton of great information about Educators Rising, as well as how to join. We're just going to dive right in. So we are going to go up to this top right-hand corner and click on the join button. Once you get here, it's going to redirect you to our join page, where you'll see two different options for middle and high school and collegiate. We're not going to go into the collegiate one today, as there is a little bit of a different process for this with aspiring educators. If you do have questions on that, we'll be happy to address them at the end or set up a separate call. So we are going to go ahead and just go through the middle and high school division today. As you see down here, we do have some helpful resources to help you guide through this join process. You can access them anytime. This video will be recorded and sent out to everyone who did register for this video. So don't worry about needing that. We should get it out within 24 to 48 hours, give or take, maybe next Monday. We're going to go ahead and click on Join Educators Rising Middle/High School. Here you're going to have some information on the type of memberships and what they include, as well as their fees. Please note, if you do have any state dues, they will be added to your total when you are checking out. This is done and linked through the address linked on your account. So if you do know you have state dues, or just in general, please do make sure you have your state added onto your account in the sign up process, as this will determine having those state dues added on for you. So you're going to go ahead and click sign up at the top here. You're going to see here, there's a couple of mandatory items we need to fill in. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill this in. Please do make sure that when you are putting an email address on file, you are using a personal email if possible. And we do have a lot of issues, whether it be during conference time or even year round, that students sign up with a school email that blocks any automatic emails or any replies. So we do ask that you use a personal email. That way, when we go to send score sheets out or sending information about deadlines, that they do get those emails and information on time. Yeah. You'll see here we have a section for additional information. You are more than welcome to have your students fill this in if they do wish. For the purpose of this video, we are going to go ahead and skip this step. Your primary organization. As many of you may know or may not know, this is a big point for our sign-up process that a lot of students have issues with sometimes. What you want to do is make sure that before your students sign up, you have your account set up and attached to the school that you were teaching at or that the program will be running under. Because of this, this is what ends up actually linking you to the account. This is what links your bill. This is what links your roster. This is what links everything that you need. So I'm going to go ahead and just paste in PDK International as my school today, and then click continue. Please do not skip this. This is very important. You'll see here it says we have found one match for PDK International. You're going to want to go ahead and click this if this is the correct one for you and continue on. Sometimes what will happen is there may be duplicates or multiples of a school on our website. This is due to the fact that a few years back, we used to allow students and teachers to add their own schools as they got onto the process of this. Due to that, we do have a lot of duplicates that we are still trying to clean up. So if you see more than one on there, don't see your correct one, please don't hesitate to reach out to us immediately and we will clean that up for you. And we will also make sure that you have the correct ID number for your school. I'm going to go ahead and fill in my address. Again, guys, this is really important due to the fact that it links you to your state dues and your state memberships, even if it doesn't have a cost. And then we're going to go ahead and click continue. Usually it'll verify that the address you entered is correct, and it'll also give you a recommended selection for this. 9 times out of 10, this is the most correct way to have it, so I always go ahead and click use this address. Here you're going to see an option for a phone number. It does make it a mandatory category. We do ask that you as a teacher, if you can put either your personal line on there or add in your extension number for your room, that would be extremely helpful. Sometimes we will find check numbers and we won't be able to connect to the school, so we'll try and call you guys. So always making sure that we have access to you guys if we need something or need to give you some sort of information or contact. Now that we've gotten here, we are going to go ahead and click on join us in membership. Here you'll see a selection of the different membership types we offer, including our Educators Rising middle and high school membership. You're going to want to kind of click here on this button below and see this form that you'll need to fill out. You'll see here again, it's mentioning the student active level as well as the adult levels. As well as the pricing and all the other valid information you'll need. Here you'll see where you need to indicate whether you're a student, teacher, or administrator. For the purpose of this, we are going to do a middle school or high school student, but I will quickly show here what it will look like as a teacher when you click this. When you click here, it'll ask you for a few extra information that it doesn't ask your students. This is what you should be clicking here to sign up yourself, as well as where to upload your intent form. Versus your students form, which is going to look a little bit like this. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this out. I'm sorry about that. It looks like I clicked on the wrong one, so I'm just going to fix that real quick. You'll see here that we're asking for their high school graduation date, and we do use this for some of our demographics and reports that we have to try and get an idea of the age of our students, as well as, you know, when we should be expecting them to move on to the next levels of our programs. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a date in here. And then click save. Once you get here, you'll see that we are purchasing for myself, the membership type, as well as the state membership on the account. You'll see that the Virginia state membership has been added, as that's the state I added for my account, and you're showing that the membership is free. And a lot of students stop here thinking that they've added it to their account now, but you want to make sure you remind them to continue on this process. Certain students will get nervous or scared that it will charge them. Please assure them that this will not happen. And there is going to be one very last page before it adds onto your bill completely. You'll see here that we have the dates of 9/27, which is today's date, through 6/30/2024. All of your memberships on here should say through 2024. You should ensure that you haven't added duplicate bills or done this process too many times by looking at this date, as it will continue to add on for the next year. We go ahead and check out now. Again, just keep going through this checkout process. And here you are going to see the billing page. Again, still have your students continue on this point. If you are going to be making the purchase on site with a credit card with your student, you can go ahead and make sure that the credit card is selected when you fill out your information. Do though ensure that when you are making this payment, you have the billing address of the card you are using on file. This will not add or change the address on your student's account. It will just add one for the billing card that you are going to be charging. 9 times out of 10, we do know that a lot of schools will send checks or they will wait until the very end with their invoice to pay over the phone. So we're going to go ahead and do a bill meet, which is the most common usage of taking payments for our students. You'll see here that it's now removed that cost and it's showing that it's going to send a confirmation email to me here. With doing this, you're going to have your student attaching your bill to your school's account. That is why it's so important to have your school correctly added to your students' accounts when they are registering. This will automatically attach them because they are attached to your account as a student and they have now added their bill. For the sake of this, I'm going to go ahead and not send myself a confirmation email, but we do always encourage that you have that sent to you for your own track records. I am now going to go ahead and submit the order. It's not going to ask me for a payment. And you'll see now my transaction was successful. You'll see the billing address as well as the customer record number. What you can do now is you can go to your main profile and see that bill pending on the account. As teacher leaders, this will show up on your account in your open balancing section, usually within 15 to 20 minutes. Please note that on your main profile, where you have the view invoice now for PDQ International, that does take 24 hours to update. Usually we just say overnight. So you won't see it there immediately, but you will see it here pretty soon, and you can always refresh to check that. So now that your student's done this, they have fully set up their account and they are all ready for payment. Please note, obviously we have our deadlines for payment, but as long as they've done adding the school and adding their bill, they are 10 steps ahead. Nor, I'm going to go ahead and roll it over to you unless we have any specific questions people would like to look over.
Sure. I think we've answered all of the questions coming in real time. So if you want to stop sharing, I will go ahead and start the resources.
All right.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Oops. All right, so I'm going to be covering the Educators Rising Teacher Leader Resources portion of the webinar. A lot of new teachers don't even know what the resources page is, and it really is designed to make your life as a teacher leader easier. So this is how you can navigate the membership portal to first get there. So this is a teacher's account. And if you look on the left-hand side, we want to scroll down till we see the tab that says Educators Rising High School Resources. From there, you want to select the drop-down option, Teacher Leader Resources. You also have access to the Student Resources page, but we're only going to be looking at the teacher leaders today. So firstly, I would like to say that we recommend all teachers to spend at least 15 minutes a week getting familiar with this page. The blue hyperlinks you see are all web pages for you to explore, and we don't expect you to do that in one sitting. It's a lot of information to take in, and I also will not be going over every link on this page today, considering our time. So again, we recommend you spend some time clicking through here and getting familiar with our resources. So starting from the top, there's this very important document called Dates to Know. For anyone who's new or even recurring teacher leaders, this is great to just download and have on your profile on your desktop, because in blue, you see the important dates for everything that opens, and in red, you will see the deadlines for the events taking place throughout the entire school year. So that's just an important document to start with. I'm not sure why this is over here. I'm only going to be going over 3 major sections that are the most important. So the first most common question we get from teachers is, where is my roster? How can I locate my roster? The paid roster, meaning your students who are paid, will show over here. All you're going to need to do is select go to the list. As you can see, the specific teacher leader whose account I'm using has access to multiple schools. So she has rosters for 4 different schools. This is pretty much all you need to do. Once you do that, you can see your student's record number, which is very important for registration, and all that other information as well. So that's the roster. It's the first thing on this page. If your students would like a certificate for their participation, here's a really quick, easy link for you to download that certificate template, fill out their information, and they can print and frame that as well. Chapter resources. If you are new or recurring, this is really recommended for you to check out because, as you can see, we have a welcome kit. We have a welcome guide, we have a road ahead poster, we have a teacher leader orientation slide deck, we have our brand guidelines all laid out for you to explore and get more familiar with what Educators Rising is all about. If you want to keep track with our activities, there's a calendar. If you want to promote Educators Rising in your school, we have posters, flyers, postcards for you to print. Funding. I saw a question in the chat about someone inquiring about funding. There's a whole document detailing information about that as well. Logos and templates. People want to use our logos for various reasons. This is where you would go. You do not need to email us. You can actually just go through here. You will need to email us for the logo approval request form, but most of the things people email us for can be found here, such as the W-9 as well. Tips for teacher leaders. Again, if you're new, please do check this out. We have a Facebook group. I highly encourage that you join because as we get closer to competitions, there's a lot of frequently asked questions. People are traveling. And this is a great community for you to connect with other teacher leaders and get quick answers as well. The store. We have some amazing Educators Rising merchandise and swag. If you are interested in purchasing some for you and your kids, it would be found here. Curriculum, resources, and micro-credentials. If you are interested in that, please do visit the Learn More button right there. National Signing Day. We have a signing day taking place on May 7th, 2024. The template certificate is right here. The hashtags you can use to promote the event for your school is also available right there. We also have an Ed Rising Week, takes place February 9th through, February 5th through the 9th. And it's basically centered around celebrating our members and also broadening our awareness of the resources that we offer. So you can learn all about Educators Rising Week here. We really detail it out with printables for each day. So if you're interested in that, that is available for you as well. I'm going to skip this. It's just detailing the national dues. It's $10 annually for a student. If you have state dues, that will be added on top of this. Very important to know, if anyone's competing in the fall, they must be paid by November 1st. That does not mean a PO being sent to us by November 1st. It means a check or a credit card. So the sooner you get started on registration and getting those invoices into your district, the better, because we understand it's quite a tedious process to get payments in. And if your students are competing in the spring, they need to be paid by February 15th. So moving on to a very important section of this page, which is the National Conference and Competition section. So the conference is taking place in 2024 in Washington, D.C., June 28th through July 1st. Our website has a conference page dedicated to updates and pretty much anything you would need to know. There's a video as well. If you were not able to attend this year's conference, please do check it out. So if you want to know how to approach competitions and you're new, you have no idea where to start, we have a guide, a complete competition guide for teacher leaders. And if you want to get to the rules and rubrics, this is where you want to go. Not only will your students' guidelines for each competition be on this page, but when they are to apply to that competition, it's not visible right now, but there will be a button right here next to this individual or dual that says apply. So if they want to register for competitions, this page is crucial for them to be familiar with. And please note that conference registration takes place separately. So you and your students will register for the conference through the link on our website over here, most likely. And if they want to register for their competition, it will be next to their respective competition. So just clicking one to give you guys an example of what this guideline looks like. So that's what that is. There's also a checklist for you as a teacher leader to make sure that your students are truly ready. They have all their boxes ticked. So this is a great document for you to keep handy as well. We also even have an overview of each competition thanks to our Delaware state officers. So your students can learn what to expect and get insights and tips for competing. And because we offer both competitions and contests, we have an overview PowerPoint breaking down the differences between the two, because we get a lot of questions about that. So all of that good stuff is right here for you. Again, competition submissions open on February 1st and they close on April 8th. And if we scroll below that, there's the W-9. If you are getting ready to submit your invoice to your district, you will need a W-9. You do not need to email us because it lives right on this resources page. Scholarships, we have a scholarship program. If you want to print this flyer or promote it, you are absolutely free to do so. If your students are interested in the eligibility and the overview, they have the section on the student resources page as well, but you can access it from your end as well. And the last thing we have on this section is the Educators Rising Standards. All of our materials and activities are anchored by the Educators Rising Standards. So if you want to learn more about what they are, you can do so here. So this is pretty much an overview of what the Educators Rising Resources page entails. If anyone has any specific questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I will stop sharing my screen.
Okay, I'm not seeing any active questions over the resources at the moment. I do see that there's a lot of different questions in the chat from people who weren't able to join on time due to some technical issues or just need a little bit more information on certain things. I'd be more than happy to answer and walk through some of those questions right now. Just go ahead and put them in the chat and I will go ahead and address those. Julie, competitions are not mandatory, no. Competitions are just an extra thing that we offer for students to participate in. That's just an additional part of Educators Rising. It is something that we, a lot of students do get to participate in, but it is not required. I'm just looking. Megan, does the PDP scholarship program pay for student dues? Nor or Michael, I don't believe so. Correct? We don't have, that doesn't cover that.
It's for collegiate collegiate tuition.
Collegiate tuition. Thank you. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of scroll back a little bit. If anyone, if you want to repaste your question if it wasn't addressed, we're happy to look over those now with a little bit more.
For those wondering if this will be recorded, it is, and it will be emailed out to you. So no worries if you were late or missed anything.
Yeah, it'll also be on our Facebook page, like Nora said. If you haven't joined that or want to join that, we do always recommend joining that page. It should have been attached to the email you received when you renewed or when you joined as a teacher leader. If it wasn't, do feel free to connect with us and we can send you that link. Brittany, your question on the promo code. So when you have that promo code on the account, I will actually just go ahead and quickly share my screen to show you this. When you do have a promo code, you will have the option as the teacher leader to see the open balances of your students. You will go ahead and click make a payment. When you go to the make a payment section, you'll be able to see all of your students listed here, and you'll also see the section for your promo code. You'll want to enter your promo code and then hit apply. It'll then calculate the new balance, and this might be a balance if you do have state dues, or it might go ahead and zero out. Even if it zeroes out, you want to go ahead and click pay just to make sure the payment goes through all the way. Julie, who should you contact? You're more than welcome to contact us either on our phone line, or you're welcome to contact us at our email for Educators Rising, which is info@educatorsrising.org. I'll also type that in the answer response to you. Robin, I see you have your hand up.
Can you hear me okay?
A little bit, yes.
Okay, sorry. Just wanted to point out on that promo code, they can enter the promo code when they're signing up as a student as well. It appears on their screen, the same as it appears on the teacher's leader. One thing to note, that only covers national dues. It does not cover state dues. So if there's state dues being charged by your state, they will be showing up on there, and you will be responsible for those unless you work it out with your state coordinator.
Yes. Yes, so the promo code can be used multiple times. Like you said, your students can put that in on their own end, just like I did. Imagining my profile was the student's account, I would be able to pay for myself using that promo code then and there. Or you could do one mass payment with that promo code for all of your students. There is a number limit, of course, so you get those 20 membership dues with the curriculum. So once that 20 runs out, it'll no longer be applicable.
I will say that you will need to make sure that your contract has that code, because there is a few contracts that was negotiated out. So be sure and check your contract with your school to make sure that you've received a promo code and that those memberships are covered.
Yes. And I know there was a couple questions. I don't know if everyone has already got those handled. Is there anything else we could possibly show you today? Anything that would be helpful? We're more than happy to walk through it. Just go ahead and shoot us the question in the chat or the Q&A section.
One thing to highlight this year is we have 5 new Spanish competitions, and we have 2 new team competitions. All those guidelines, with the exception of the outstanding chapter competition, have been posted. We're in the final stages of the outstanding chapter, so I hope that'll be up within the next week or so.
Okay, cool. So Diane, I see your question right there. So that kind of goes back to our school question, our organization question in our system. For stuff like this, we would want you to reach out to us directly to add in your school if it's not in here. We're happy to add in your school and then put your school on your account, that since it already has a district on there. Once we've created that account for you, your students will be able to type in exactly how you give it to us, or you can use the ID number that we can provide as well. So what that means is if you're not seeing your school, you're not sure which one is your correct school, if there's multiple, reach out to us first. That way we can go ahead and clean up the schools. If you think this one isn't spelled correctly, or if there's an issue at all with the way the schools are listed on there, let us know before you have your students adding those schools on there so that we can make sure that's cleaned up. That way they have access to everything and you have access to their bills as well. Megan, if your question in regards to the grant, Robin, I'm not sure if you'd be the better person to answer that, because I don't think we have specific funding for student membership fees.
So the NEA, if you're connected to NEA, if you're an NEA school, you can reach out to your local NEA representative, and they have money set aside for new Ed Rising chapters. They'll walk you through how to apply for those funds. If you're not an NEA school, you can reach out as far as checking with the state to see if you can use your ESSER funds or possibly your Perkins funds.
And Diane, I see your question. No problem with all the questions. We love the questions because it helps everyone else who may not know the questions to ask. Real quickly, I'll ask for your permission, Diane. Do you mind if I pull up your account and just kind of walk through how a student might do that? Awesome. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start on that real quickly. If you don't mind, just give me the name of one of your students' names. That way I can search them up for you. That'd be great. All right, Deborah Becker. So I do see, Diane, that right now you are attached to West Virgo High School. Is that correct? Gotcha. All right, then I am going to go ahead and I'm going to pull up your student's account and I'm going to log in. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. I'm just going to go first log in as the student to make sure that everything looks correct from your end and what you will actually be seeing. Okay. So this is what your student's account looks like. You'll see here they actually do have the school added to their account, which is fantastic. They have their address, their email, and their phone number. It looks like the only thing they don't have added is going to be their bill. So more often than not, it may be that all of your students have the same issue where they added their school or didn't add their bill, vice versa. This is how you can look and see this visually when you go on your student's profile. Have them log in and you can look right here. Okay, are they attached to West Virgo High School? If it's not there, they'll have a button to add it. That is where they can go in there and add their school. If they're missing their balance after they've already filled out that original process, you can look over here to the left-hand side. I do have a little bit more than you might have on yours, but we're going to go ahead and look at memberships. This is where they'll be able to join and renew Ed Rising Middle and High School. And to the, I saw there was a question earlier as well to a teacher leader who had a question about renewing as well. If you're not seeing it under here, typically you will see your membership under here to renew for a teacher leader if this is your second go around doing this or even third or fourth. But if you're not seeing that for whatever reason, you can go over to the memberships to join and renew. So for the purpose of this, I am going to go ahead and walk through the process of doing this if your student has already joined but didn't add their bill through the initial process. Again, a lot of students do get nervous when it comes to adding bills in their accounts and they're not sure if they should pay. So this is a common occurrence that we are trying to combat a little bit. So again, you're going to want to make sure that they indicate that they're a middle or high school student. For the purpose of this, I am going to go ahead and not select their gender or race. They can go in this and edit it, or you can go ahead and send us that information later on to edit it. But just for the purpose of this, we are going to go ahead and put that like that. I'm going to go ahead and type this again right here. This is just for our data on the back end. This isn't necessarily what connects us since the student is already connected to the account, but it's always good to have this information in here also in case something gets lost. Graduation date, again, I'm going to go ahead and just put a date in here. Please feel free to go ahead and change that. I'm sorry about that. Just pulling that up to make sure I have that in. I'm just going to put July 31st. I'm going to put 2025. We can change that afterwards. No worries. We'll just go ahead and continue on this. So after your student has done all this information, again, we're just going to click save. And wait for my Wi-Fi to load. And then you're going to see here. So for Deborah, we're seeing now we have the state due or the membership dues for nationals, which is that $10, as well as their state membership dues, which is free. We're going to go ahead now and review and check out. Once we get here, we're going to review and make sure the expiration dates are correct. All of our memberships always end on 6/30/2020, whatever year it is. So 2024 is when this membership year will end. So we'll make sure that looks correct. If you're seeing that it says 2025 or 2026, that does mean that your student has already added on a bill for this year. So don't allow them to go through the process again because it will create duplicate bills. I'm gonna hit check out. And again, we're gonna click bill me. I'm assuming again that this is like, we're gonna say being paid by a check or being paid for a credit card at a later date. So we're gonna go ahead and put bill me. I'm gonna go ahead and not send a confirmation to her so she doesn't get confused what we're talking about her on this. And then I'm gonna go ahead and submit the order. So now that I've submitted the order for Deborah, we can go back to her profile and we now see that $10. I'm gonna quickly log back in as myself and go to your profile just to show you what it'll look like now for you. More than likely, again, your students will have to do either one of those two things, which is adding the school or adding their bill. That's how they'll add the bill. And again, they'll have that add button right there to add their school if they missed it. So I'm just gonna pull up real quickly your account. Okay. And now I'm going to log in with you, just so we can see what you see on your profile when you log in. So now you'll see here that you have your student's $10 bill on your account. You'll see that now if you click on make a payment, and you click on West Virgo High School, as well as all the 4 buttons so that you can pull in all the dues, you will now see her bill. If you were going to pay for it, you would go ahead and select all and then go to the payments. Obviously, we're going to go ahead and skip that for right now since we aren't doing that, but we will go on back to your account. Again, after it's been 24 hours, you'll have a view invoice for West Virgo High School, which will pull up and create an invoice for you to print or download with all of your students' membership dues on there. So again, the 2 most important things when having your students create memberships or even after they've created it and they have issues is going in and double checking their school is listed the same as yours and looking at the bill. They won't show up if they haven't added the bill and they won't show up if they have added the school. Those are the 2 main things that cause our students and teachers the most issues. We go ahead and stop sharing and go back to our chat to just look. Yes, and yeah, Diane, looks like we're all set to go on your school. So now that your students start signing up, it looks like that other student was also on there correctly. They just need to go in there and add those bills to the process we just went through. I'm just going to scroll up and see if I missed any questions during that. Any other questions that we can walk you guys through today? We're more than happy to.
So there was a question in the chat about the promo code. Promo codes are only provided to folks that have purchased the curriculum. So if you are currently using the advising curriculum, that promo code should have come in your welcome email giving you your access instructions. If you do not have that, and you know that your school has purchased the curriculum, you can reach out to info@Educators Rising and we'll look that curriculum code up for you.
Yeah, and just to kind of quickly, like she said, sorry, Robin, it's a little hard to hear you, so I'll just say that one more time for anyone who maybe couldn't. Curriculum is our curriculum purchases is how you get the code for those 20 free memberships, barring, of course, like Robin said, if you worked out a specific account, it wouldn't include those. So it will be on that welcome email that was sent to you. If you did not have that email or can't find that email or have any issues and you know you have a contract and you are using the curriculum, again, you can email us at info@educatorsrising.org to help you access and find that promo code. Oh, well, I'm glad you found it, Brittany. Anyone else? I know there's a lot of questions earlier on from people who weren't able to join on time. Again, happy to answer any questions and walk through any additional step that you might have missed or might you need some more clarity on.
think maybe we should stop recording so it has some time to save.
Yep, I'll give everyone a couple, let's give everyone a couple more minutes if you're typing something out. Feel free. If not, it looks like we did end a little bit earlier today, but unless there's anything else anyone wants to go over, we will probably go ahead and end this recording so we can go ahead and get it started edited, and so we can get that sent out to you guys. Please feel free to share this with any teachers or students that that may have questions. We have, like I said in the beginning, we have a multitude of other resources that are linked on that join page, the main join page on our website. It does actually include also a walkthrough tutorial video of basically this as well. So you have additional information there. So if you have any other questions that we maybe couldn't answer today or that weren't answered today, do feel free to reach out to us. And do note that we will be hosting another webinar in a few months to go over how to register for the national competitions and conference. So definitely join that if you think your students are going to be participating. It'll be a great resource for seeing how to go through the process of doing both the conference registration and their individual competition registrations.